Hi guys, Alex Peak Performance Reviews. Welcome to another vlog. I'm here in my barn with our little race KA, but I'm not doing anything particularly to the race KA. I'm actually doing something, potentially for a later date, and that's carrying on with the engine stripping. So I'm going to kind of talk you through some things that we're going to do and pull it apart bit by bit and try and document it for you. So yeah, crack on. It's out, we've obviously plugged up all the ports and stuff like that. It doesn't matter so much now because it's going to get cleaned when we pull it apart. First things first, you're going to have to take all the bolts out here, which we've done, and obviously take the rocker cover off. I'm just going to put some gloves on and I'll show you that. Like I say, you need to take all these bolts off. I think there's about 10. You'll see that they're all off, all of these just around here, and then literally this will pop off like so. And as you will see, it is a baffled rocker, but it's all plastic actually, but it does have a little insert and a baffle in it, which is good, but it doesn't matter at the moment. We're going to cast that to one side and obviously expose the single cam. Look at the condition of this. A little bit of dust in here on some of these lobes, but yeah, it looks like it's very clean. That's had a good life. So the rockers, obviously if you are watching and you're brand new to anything like this in general, in terms of stripping motors or the technicalities of kind of motors in general, obviously you've got a cam gear here which is non-adjustable, as you'd imagine, has got markings on as to how you align this, but I've never done a timing chain. This one's obviously, like I say, it's a timing chain on these, but it has a belt external to it, obviously, but this is a cam chain, and obviously you've got a single camshaft, you've got the caps retainers, cam retainers, and then obviously you've got the cam, and you've got rockers on this head design, and obviously there they are. That's the rocker head, and there's the follower, and there's the spring, and they basically just rotate and the lobe that's obviously extended will push the rocker down, and the spring will depress, and obviously the valve will lift up and ignition happens, and then there's a combustion cycle. So there you go, that's the single cam there. We're going to start to take off this kind of mount, which is almost like it's a engine mount on the side, which needs some, I think it's a T30. I'm going to take those off and then start to remove the head. I'm going to see if we can do it all in one go, but I think chances are we need to take off the other ancillaries on the top of the head. But yeah, we'll go ahead and have a look and see how we get on. Taking one of the accessory pulleys off. I'm not going to take the crank pulley off just yet. I'll keep those bolts with it. But as you see, obviously, as you'd expect, the crank pulley, if you look up here, so I might move it, it rotates the cams and the cam gear, obviously, as you'd expect. And actually you can see one of the lobes just there pushing down on the rocker. Don't want to rotate that too much, but yeah, carry on. So I'm now going to try and take the whole head off as one assembly, and I'll probably put the rocker cover back on afterwards. So I'm going to take the head bolts off, which have got these Torx 55 heads on. I'm going to remove those. Obviously when they're done back up, they're done in a cross pattern. You can obviously see the OEM guide for kind of what cross kind of torques you need to do on each bolt when you redo it up, and also the torques for when you reassemble it. I haven't got that to hand, but I'll maybe put it in the bio, and let's get it off. FYI, they are on very tight, so a little ratchet is not cutting it. So got the trusty breaker bar out. I have got a bigger one if need be, but hopefully this will do it without breaking at all. But let's have a look and see if we can get them off. Crack off some of these head bolts. They bubble, and you'll hear sometimes pressure releasing from the old assembly lube that's in these from the factory, which is incredible. They literally crack and they make almost like a hissing sound. yeah, it's pretty. But yeah, the breaker bar does remove it, by the way. So I'm going to try and one-handedly. This is hard when you're recording on your own. Let's see if we can do one while on the phone. That one didn't do it as much. Those all released. You can probably put it back on the ratchet and undo them slowly but surely. Some of them may be tighter than others, but yeah, they'll come off. All good. This one you might need an extension on because it's too close to the cam. Or gear, should I say. But the rest of these are all undoing nicely. So yeah, I'm going to show you a bit in a minute. Look at how long them head bolts are. that is a beast. Has come to greet me. He likes the Enduroka engine very much. What's that, fella? You want to come and race with us? I released the very last bolt on the head. I'm just going to take the oil dipstick bolt from here. It's obviously sealed, so it's not going to move much, but it will just come away from there a little bit if I take this off, because obviously this part is attached to the head, and if I start trying to take it off, it's not going to go anywhere. So I'll be wondering why it's not coming off. Other than that, it looks as though once that last bolt there is taken off and then the last head bolt's off, that head should slide off. So yeah, we're going to take that off in a minute. Just a quick FYI, if you didn't know, I'm going to give you some little tech knowledge. Anyone probably watching on 90% of people, maybe even less, I don't know, will know that when this is fully assembled with the rocker, the whole engine is called a long block. It's a terminology more kind of American than you heard in the UK, I think, but it's good terminology in my opinion. So when the rocker cover is on there, the whole block is called a long block. It means it's the head and the bottom of the block, which is the pistons, com rods, and the crankshaft, and the head is all the valve train, so cams, rockers, valves, etc., and the head itself with the ports. That's the head. The whole assembled block is called a long block, and a block without a head is called a short block. So the bottom portion is called a short block. That's the head there. That's the short block. All together, it's called a long block. Yeah, you learn something new every day, eh? Right, anyway, let's get that head off. Little bolt was a 10mm, and like I say, we're going to get this last bolt off. Which obviously runs all the way down to the crank, as you'd expect. And obviously that needs to be off, otherwise you're not going to be able to pull it off the head, obviously, because that's attached. So we need to take a few more ancillaries and parts up off the top. But while we're here, one thing that is worth looking at is the cylinder conditions, I suppose, or look at the spark plug wear and colours for looking at signs of cylinder wear and stuff like that. Cylinder, it could be 2 because it's from the crank, was a little bit of a rich burn, or a cokey burn actually. So yeah, it's nothing that untoward, and in general they all look okay and don't look oily or anything like that. So I think when we open this block up, there's not going to be too many surprises, I don't think, which is good, because it's nice if we can start with a good condition block before we start doing a rebuild as such with some new parts, because that's basically what in essence we're going to do. It's just, and also just really we wanted to document pulling apart a motor. So yeah, must admit I haven't worked with that many cam or timing chained cars personally in terms of pulling them apart. It's always been belt for me, so I've just got to kind of work out what I've got to do and the best way to do it without having to do too much to get the head off. So yeah, and this is another T55 Torx bolt. I'm going to undo this so I can undo the camshaft from the cam pulley or cam gear. And what you need to do is, obviously I'm going to actually take note of top dead center or alignment for not top dead center, alignment for where it is in relation to the crank, because if for some reason I'm going to rebuild this myself, we'll need to make sure that everything marries up, so there's no collisions of valves to pistons. So where this is, we'll need to marry up the same. That being said, obviously it will be worth someone, when they rebuild it, it's likely to be someone else or an engine tuner or builder. They will align everything up to be as it should. So but I'm going to take note of this. I'm going to take some pictures of everything as is so I know, and go from there. But yeah, I'm going to undo this. As I'm trying to push down on this and undo this, you'll need probably a breaker on the crank pulley as well, so that will crack off the top. But yeah, hold both at the same time, and then one the opposite way to the other, and boom, this should crack off. We can then hopefully release the cam timing gear off the camshaft, and I think really we should, I don't know, let's have a look. Yeah, I think there's enough space there. I think we should be able to lift. No, probably not actually. We'll have to see. I think I might have to take a few things apart before that comes away from the head, but we'll have a look. Gonna be probably put on with some hella torque, so you're talking maybe 120 to 200 foot-pounds. I don't know, I'd have to have a look. So you'll probably need 2 breaker bars to crack one of these off, and it's this one that I want to crack off. So I've managed to do it, which is all good. Little gear off, you can just actually move this around quite a lot, and then you need to move it to a certain angle, and then you can kind of turn the gear a little bit, and then you should be able to pull the gear out of here. That'll obviously then release the chain, and the chain will just go down obviously into the bottom of the block. You'll be able to retrieve it, obviously, don't worry. And yeah, we should be able to have access to pull the block off. I have got a feeling, and I'm not certain, I think there's a couple of extra bolts that you'll need a long extension on, and they're smaller bolts, and it looks as though they probably are attached to the block. I can't quite tell. I'm going to try and gently prise the head away from the short block and see if it works, and if not, those 2 bolts probably need to come off. There's no other bolts visually I can see that need to come off. This should come out together. Heartache 27mm socket you need to get on this little stupid actuator so you can get to the other bolt. I've been struggling big time on this. There you go, get it off. Remove the head. So yeah, moment of truth. Just look at the conditions of the valves, they're not too bad actually. I'll flip it around for you in a moment, but here, sorry for the devastation, I've had some right old, bit of a right old bastard. But head or on top of the deck looks to be okay. Piston condition all looks good. There's a little bit of residue here and there, nothing too bad. If I rotate the crank, if I can, probably need a bigger. So just rotate the pistons. So you go to BDC, bottom dead center, and yeah, the bores look really good. Let's get that on again. Go a bit further down. That's that cylinder at BDC, and yeah, the bores look really, really good actually. Can't see anything nasty. Light on this time around, and yeah, and it literally looks like assembly clean. So yeah, that's a healthy block. Cylinder 1. Let's check 2. Number 2 and 3 are on the same stroke cycle, so we can check 2 and 3 at the same time. Gorgeous. No scores. Very sexy. Both there. A little bit of it looks like leakage, and that was, funny enough, this was the cylinder that we thought was there's a little bit, tiny bit of leakage on cylinder 3, so that may need maybe some piston rings, but the bore, let's have a look. Yeah, the bore looks clean, to be fair, but it just maybe there's a little bit of leaking, a little bit of blow by on that cylinder. That's why it's a little bit more dark. So kind of we expected that a little bit, but that's not too bad. That's to be fair, that's kind of what we'd expect, and why we want to probably put some new rings on this one anyway. We'll have a look when we pull apart the motor. That is cylinder 4. That's in really good condition as well. Lovely. Yeah, no, all happy with that. The pistons look really good. Obviously we'll give them a clean up, get all the soot and crap off them, and they'll look like new. I think we'll just reuse those pistons, and I suspect the con rods, we'll give them a check, make sure they're not bent, balance everything up, and yeah, I don't think the bore will need anything taken away from it because it looks immaculate. So I suspect we'll just need new rings, which will be lovely. Obviously I suspect the cylinder head will need a slight skim. We'll have a look, and bits, but at the end of the day it's because the head's been on there for a while. Obviously some of these ports and galleries would benefit from a decoking and a clean, because they're obviously quite old, but overall condition looks good. We'll give it a little skim and a new head gasket, even if it's just a little light skim, because that looks in good condition. But obviously when it goes to machine shop, they'll check for deck flatness, and then obviously just skim if need be. But overall, little buttes there. Overall, deck, short block and long block, or short block head and the full long block essentially are in good condition. But we'll have a look a bit more when we pull apart this motor another day. But yeah, I'm obviously going to do more, but I'm not going to probably do more today because I'm getting really tired. That hasn't taken that long, but it's taken long enough, so I'm going to leave it there anyway. Like I say, I'm getting quite tired. I want to do more bite-sized kind of bits with pulling apart motors anyway for all you guys, and do it just slowly but surely so you can ingest that quite nicely. So yeah, hopefully this isn't too long a video, and if it is, I do apologise. But I hope you've enjoyed it. Yeah, thanks for watching. As always, like, share, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you again in the next one. Bye for now.